If someone's just like, sorry, I can't spend quality time with you because unless we're having sex, or if somebody is like, no, I'm not gonna be intentional with you, but I want to have sex with you. This is where like love languages to me kind of like break down and become bullshit. Hi friends, welcome back to Sisterhood Tea Party. Today we're spilling the tea on something people swear by in relationships, love languages.
But before we dive in, we need to ask you for a little favor. If you love this podcast, please, please, please take a second to leave us a 5-star review. It's free. It literally takes 2 seconds and it helps us so much.
Yes, for real. Reviews are how more people find us, and we want to keep bringing you all the tea. So if you're listening right now, pause for a sec, scroll down, and hit the 5-star rating. We'll wait.
Okay, that should have been enough time for you. Thanks, friends. So let's get into today's episode because we are truly shaking the table with this one. Today we're asking the big question, are love languages actually helpful or are they just another relationship gimmick? We're about to get into some controversial takes.
But first, before we dive into all of that, we want to start with our top of mind section. Just a little life update. What's been on our minds? What's stressing us? What we're loving? What's annoying us? You know, the usual.
Yes. Okay, Jess. So what's been top of mind for you this week?
Okay, so honestly, I cannot stop thinking about summer. And I know we're like nowhere near summer, but I'm ready for summer. After watching the Grammys a few weeks back and realizing how much just amazing music there was this summer, like brat summer, all I can think about is like, cool, can we like get back to that timeline? Like, can we get back to summer? I need to be like driving in my car, vibing with my windows rolled down and just like great music playing. So that's been pretty much living rent free in my head.
I love that. And low key, it almost gave me like 2016 summer vibes. It was close. It was close. But this past summer was really good. So I'm really hoping we get some great music. Speaking of music, Cowboy Carter has been on my mind constantly.
Yes!
Also, after watching the Grammys, my friend and I are fully planning to attend the Houston show in the summer. So here's the thing. I already booked our hotel. I already started mapping out my outfits. Like I have a whole album in my phone dedicated to outfits, but I am stressed about pre-sale. We've not bought tickets. They're not out yet. They're about to be released probably in the next couple of days. So I've been like, it's on my calendar. I'm like counting the days to be like, all right, we got to lock in and make sure we're good to go. Like right now, I've been on TikTok very deep into like Beyonce TikTok, and I've seen seat views from people who attended Renaissance tour. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a great spot. Oh, that's kind of weird. Or this is a really, really good spot. Let's try for that. I don't know. We're manifesting it's going to be successful, but we truly never know until we log in that day.
Yeah, I feel like getting concert tickets anymore is like unrealistically stressful. Like it's just like should not be that stressful. So I'm sending you all the good vibes. Also, is there like have they she already released what the stage is gonna look like? So like do you already kind of know what it's gonna be?
Yeah. So in addition to that, people have like hacked the system somehow. And on TikTok, they're showing like these are the ticket prices that you could be expecting. And this is like the layout of the stage. And I'm like, how did you know that? How did you even think like somebody's getting fired at Ticketmaster or something? Because I'm not sure how you were able to infiltrate their system to get that. But honestly, I thank you for it because now it gives me a little less stress, but I'm still stressed. So I don't know.
Well, sending all the good vibes. I love that this is happening for you, and I don't know. I'm jealous. I'm gonna wait till resale comes out, and then I'll decide if I also maybe I'll crash you with you guys, even though
Hey,
Houston's not my region.
Hey, listen, it's okay. It's okay. For you, I would accept coming to our region, but I saw this TikTok and this lady was basically like, do not come from LA to Houston. Stay on your side. Like, don't try and crowd everything. Stay where your area is. But for you, Jess, because she's not coming to Denver, you can come to Houston.
Okay, I appreciate that. Well, we might have to do a deep dive on the recap of Cowboy Carter tour in a future episode after you've gone because I'm so excited for you. But for now, let's get into today's real tea, which is why love languages might actually be BS. All right, so if you've ever dated in the last several decades, you probably have heard of love languages. They come from a book by Dr. Gary Chapman from the 90s. So you know, already a little bit outdated coming from the 90s.
Yeah. He basically claimed that people show and receive love in 5 different ways. So, words of affirmation, saying nice things like, I love you, or you're amazing, or if we, update it to, you're doing amazing, sweetie, things like that. Acts of service, so doing things for your partner like washing the dishes, running errands, different things like that. Receiving gifts, so showing love through presents. Quality time, so spending meaningful time together. That could be at home or going out somewhere. And then physical touch, so hugs, kisses, cuddling, all of that good stuff.
Yep, and on paper, this sounds really cute. Like, just figure out your love language and boom, happy relationship.
But here's the problem: love isn't that simple. This system acts like if you just check one box, your partner will feel fully loved and fulfilled forever. And honestly, that's not how people work.
Exactly. So today we're playing Overrated and Underrated Love Edition. And we're going to go through each love language, deciding if it's overhyped or actually useful, and then give you something better that actually makes relationships stronger.
Yes, so buckle up. This one's going to be juicy.
All right, first up, words of affirmation. Overrated or underrated?
Ooh, I would say mostly overrated, honestly. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm a big person, like I'm a big like actions over like words person. So I just feel like you can say all of these things, but like I need you to show me, I need you to like actually put it into action if you really mean it. So I don't know, it's overrated, but I understand too that people need words of affirmation. And so I respect that, but if we're speaking just about me, which I am, I think it's overrated. What about you?
Yeah, I would say agreed, mostly overrated. I agree. I think the actions are more important. Even though, as a book talk girly, I will say I love a good girl comment. But
Oh, okay. Just kidding. That's the exception.
yeah, so I'll take it. But I do think for the most part, it's not like if you just do that, you're not gonna feel fulfilled, and you're not going to be fulfilling your partner, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like an underrated love move is consistency, right? Like
Mm.
do what you're going to say you're going to do. Show up, follow through, and let your actions be the loudest I love you. I feel like that just makes the most sense, in my opinion.
Exactly. Like saying I love you is great, but remembering your coffee order, supporting your goals, actually listening when you're venting, that's going to be the real MVP.
Yes, totally agree. So, next up, acts of service. What do you think?
Acts of service, I think, is underrated when it's intentional.
Mm.
Like, I think that, someone going out of their way to help you or support you, like they see that you're stressed out, they see that like you have a lot on your plate, and they can like just be like, hey, yeah, no, I like did this thing, and it's not like I did this thing so that I can have sex with you, basically. But like if you actually just like did it because you just wanted to do something nice for the person, I think super underrated.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's appropriately rated. I think across the board, I would agree. I like acts of service. I'm really all about like being intentional and doing those things as long as there is thought behind it. You're not doing it just to do it, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. I think also like instead of just focusing on acts of service though, a better, maybe more underrated thing is also thoughtfulness. Like which is kind of I guess what we're describing here, but it's not just about like doing tasks to do tasks, but noticing those little things and really anticipating the needs.
absolutely. I feel like it's a difference between saying, well, I took out the trash because you nagged me, right? Versus I saw you were stressed, so I decided to order your favorite meal. Like I feel like that is got the key to my heart right there. I'm like, I appreciate that. Like I feel seen in that moment being like, okay, you're actually paying attention to me. So,
Exactly. There's like nuance there essentially.
mhm.
Um cool. So next up is receiving gifts, overrated or underrated?
Did I okay, again, talking about me, I I'm not a gift person. And all of my friends that are listening know that I am not the biggest gift person. My idea of people showing up for me and like receiving gifts is like their presence is a gift. That's kind of like what I think.
Mm.
Um, and the other part of that is I don't like gifts. Like, don't give me a gift just to give me a gift, also. I don't, unless there's some thought behind it, I would appreciate it. But if you're just like, oh, let me just get you just this random thing. I want thought behind the gift. Um,
Mm,
and I don't know. I feel like there are better ways to show me that you care and show me that you love me. But again, I understand that people really do appreciate gifts, and that is a way that they show love and they receive love too. So I also try to be respectful of that. And I know that if someone's giving me a gift, it's because like this is how they show love. And so I'm not going to be disrespectful in any means. Like I will still be very appreciative, but in general, I think giving gifts is overrated. So what do you think?
fair. I think it's appropriately rated. I think that, yeah, I agree. Like generic gifts, lame. But I will say my husband is really good at giving gifts.
You
Like
see?
I feel like I'm bad at getting gifts where I'm like, oh my God, what should I get them? Um, and my husband like will be like super on theme. Like he'll be like, what's something she's interested in right now? Because I have an obsessive personality, so like I obsess about certain things, and then he'll be like, okay, all in on Vampire Diaries gifts, all in on Taylor Swift gifts, all in on like whatever the thing is. And I do love that. But I will say, and why I also say it's appropriately rated and not necessarily underrated, is that like it doesn't make up for quality time, right? And I also feel like I've seen like in other, again, because we're talking about like are these love languages BS, but I feel like, if somebody is treating you poorly but they're buying you a lot of stuff, like that doesn't make up for it. That's bullshit, right? And so like I don't think it's the most important thing in a relationship.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like a more underrated way of showing love would be creating meaningful experiences, right? So instead of
Mm,
giving a gift, creating a memory and being like, hey, we're going on this trip. Like, I've bought you these tickets. We're hopping on a plane and we're going here. I feel like creating experiences is a huge thing. And, even instead of spending money, if you don't want to spend money on stuff, you can just invest in quality time, shared memories. Just, I feel like those really are what matters the most. And I feel like you'll look back on that and realize like that meant more than just like a silly gift card or something.
yeah, like surprise trips, late night drives, cooking together, like those moments end up lasting longer. They're creating memories than any like trinket would be.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, quality time. What do we think? Overrated or underrated?
I feel like underrated. I feel like we've kind of been alluding to that this whole time. It's like you can't just like say things and give things, like doing things together. I mean, we talked about it in one of the past episodes where we talked about married versus single life. Like one of my favorite things about being married is just like the time we spend together and the day-to-day stuff and like watching our favorite TV show, like that kind of stuff. Like to me that is super underrated. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. 100% underrated. I feel like when I was actually paying attention to love languages in the Bay, I feel like quality time was my number one. I absolutely love spending time with people that I love. And it could be as simple as like we're in the same room and we're again watching a show or just like hanging out, we're venting, we're doing whatever, or we're out and about, we're living our best single girl life out there. Spending time with my other single friends too is also so much fun because again, we have that shared bond. We're out there and we're just like living our best life, but also spending time with my other groups of friends, catching up and just being around each other. It's just a beautiful thing. And yeah, I just feel like it's completely underrated.
I love it. Yeah, I think that that's interesting too because I think when people hear like spending, quality time, they think it has to be this like big thing, but like really the underrated part of that is just active presence. So
Hmm.
putting your phone away, engaging in the real conversation, and making even the mundane, like small moments of just being together really count and really meaningful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For me, I just feel like I'd rather have a 1 hour like hangout of just deep conversation, deep connection, rather than like 4 or 5 hours of just surface level time together. Like I want to be able to like have those moments and those memories there, and I just think that that just makes it way better.
Agreed. Okay, last one, physical touch. Overrated or underrated?
I think it's appropriately rated for what it is. I know that there are some people. I know. I'm like, but I also think I don't know. It's appropriately rated. I think it's appropriately rated. I don't mind it. I would like to think I like to give hugs to people that I care about, but at the same time, I'm also like very like protective of my space and like who I'm like affectionate with. So I
Mm.
think it's appropriately rated because I have that control of like, okay, like, yes, I'll give you a hug. Yes, I'll do this, whatever. And like, yeah, for me, yeah, I would say appropriately rated.
Mm. I think for me, I'm gonna say overrated. I know. Uh, I think that like not that I don't like physical touch, don't get me wrong, but I think it's again a book talk early over here. Um but I think that again I go back to like I feel like with some of these things if you have pieces of them and not the other pieces like you're okay, and then if you only have that one thing like everything falls apart, and I feel like physical touch is one of those things where like if that's all you have then that's not enough. And I think if somebody, again, going back to this like love language is bullshit, if someone's just like, sorry, I can't spend quality time with you because unless we're having sex, you know, or if somebody is
Right.
like, no, I'm not gonna like be intentional with you and but I want to have sex with you, which like this is where like love languages to me kind of like break down and become bullshit. It's like I feel like sometimes it can just be used as a cop out for an excuse why you're not doing the other things is because you're not getting the physical touch you feel like you need. Like we see this on dating shows all the time, right? Like we've seen this on Love is Blind before, and I'm just like, it gives me the ick, and it just makes me want to absolutely say it's overrated.
Yeah. No, you make a good point, and honestly, you may have convinced me otherwise. Because I just now thought, no, I think I just now thought about on dating apps, there were specific prompts like on Hinge and Bumble that would be like, what are your love languages? And every single man, I probably have screenshots on my phone. Every single man who used that prompt said their number one love language was physical touch. And I'm just like, can we just, we're not
Yeah.
original, are we? Like, why though? Why is that your number one? Well, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I just, I like to be affectionate and I like to hug, I like to kiss, da da da. And I'm like, that's it? There's no substance behind you wanting to do those things. You just like to do it because you like to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So now that you've said that, Jess, I will now change my answer to overrated simply because of those men who are just not original in their answers for love languages. And that's part of the reason why I feel like it is definitely BS.
Yeah.
Because of that. However, instead of physical touch, I feel like the kind of the flip side, the underrated love move here would be emotional intimacy, right? Because I feel like if
Mm.
you're connected emotionally, all the cuddles in the world, things like that are not going to fix the relationship if you're not emotionally connected. Like I just feel like you have to have that. I feel like that's a huge part of a relationship is being connected that way because once you're connected emotionally, I feel like things start to click and will, line up for you.
Exactly. Preach, preach, preach. I'm obsessed.
All right, besties. After breaking it all down, here's the verdict. We feel like love languages are not totally useless, but they are definitely overhyped.
Yep, they're a cute starting point, but real love takes way more than just figuring out someone's preferred way of being loved, if you can even call it that.
Yes, but what really matters? So, again, we talked about it already communication, emotional intelligence, consistency, and actually paying attention to your partner as a whole. I feel like love is just not about like what you prefer, it's about really building something that works for the both of you.
Exactly. So now it's time for our last drop of tea, our final takeaway for today.
Yes. Here's the tea, friends. Don't just learn your partner's love language, learn their stress language, okay? Their apology language, their I had a bad day language, all right? Love isn't just about how you receive it, it's about how you show up when it really matters.
Yes, let that one sink in, besties. And we want to hear from you. What's an underrated way to show love that you think deserves hype? DM us, comment, send us a voice note, whatever. Just let us know. We love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And don't forget, please subscribe, rate, and share this with your besties. We'll be back next week with more unfiltered tea. Until then, stay love for real.